Step 1. Identify vacancy and evaluate need. To do this, you need to determine if you're hiring for a newly created position or a replacement position. For a newly created position, you need to take into consideration the goals and core competencies of the company in order to properly conduct a job analysis of the new position. This is to identify if there are any missing skills required. These will be added into the job description for the new position. As for a replacement position, before posting for an opening, you must consider if this position and classification level is still required by the company. If so, then a job analysis must be conducted to evaluate if there are any changes to tasks and/or responsibilities that were performed by the previous employee. Step 2. Develop position description. Confused? Don't know what exactly entails in a position description? Don't worry, we're here to break it down for you. A position description is vital to having a successful recruitment procedure. An ideal position description should give a clear indication of position's responsibilities and qualifications. It will establish competencies and training objectives of varying task levels, constitutes and identifies performance standards and workflow accountability, and it perceives a distinct image of the company's reputation and culture. There are 5 essential requirements when developing a job description. 1. General information. 2. Position purpose. 3. Essential functions. 4. Minimum requirements. And 5. The preferred qualifications. The general information is the basic job classification and pay information needed for the job description. Some of the stuff included would be the payroll title, which is the title associated with the FLSA status, the pay grade or step, the working title, which is commonly known as the marketing title for online job searches, the department name, the department head, the supervisor's name, the title codes, which refer to the numbers of full-time employees that are supervised, and any special requirements or conditions. An example of these would be a background check, a BFOQ, a driver's license, etc. pertaining to the specific job position. The position purpose will encompass the organization and/or the essential functions within the department relating to the activities of the position. The purpose is to incorporate the description of the role, the estimated duration of the position, the number of open positions for the role, and any pre-employment qualifications or objectives. Make note that in order to have a more diverse pool of candidates and to ensure that it's a top quality candidate, to include keywords such as career, job, and input the title of the position at the beginning of the posting. Essential job functions refers to all the various responsibilities and skills pertaining to the position's duties. In order to accurately describe the essential functions of the position, you need to consider arranging the functions of the job by importance and percentage of time spent on each function, describing the authority level and required complexity the candidate must require in order to qualify for the position, and finally, all essential tasks must be related to the achievement of the essential function. Minimum requirements refers to the basic qualifications of the position that are posted to potential candidates. These fall into 2 categories: hard job skills and soft job skills. Hard skills refers to education and experience requirements that pertain to the successful completion of the duties of the position. This, for example, would be a bachelor's degree, 3 years managerial experience, or experience with PeopleSoft per se. Soft skills refers to the requirements that call for the candidate to be, for example, communication proficient or organized. It's important to remember both hard and soft skills need to be specific to the position, objective, non-comparative, and essential to the functions of the position. The key is to limit no more than 3 to 5 hard job skills. As for soft skill limitation, it is dependent on the position. And lastly, preferred qualifications. These are the additional skills and experience over basic qualifications that help to narrow down the candidate pool. Examples would be prior experience in the preferred or related area and/or prior experience within the company. Any advanced degree or certifications are additional.
Step 3. Develop a recruitment plan.
A recruitment plan is important because it outlines a strategy for attracting and hiring the most qualified candidate for a position. Moreover, a carefully structured recruitment plan helps to ensure a diverse applicant pool. A successful recruitment plan is contingent on the development and implementation of several key elements. These elements include generating a recruitment timeline, posting vacancies, reviewing placement goals, examining job descriptions, creating a recruitment budget, utilizing various advertisement resources, as well as connecting with diversity agencies. A recruitment timeline assigns key dates and timeframes to the main activities in your organization's recruitment process. A recruitment timeline is essential to the management of recruitment tasks. It is essential that you assign dates in your timeline for preparing and distributing advertisements, posting application opening and closing dates, notifying applicants about the status of their recruitment, conducting interviews, as well as for running screening and reference checks. Job posting is a practice of publicizing an open job and listing its attributes, such as criteria of knowledge, qualifications, skill, and experience. The purpose of posting vacancies is to bring job openings to the attention of all interested persons, both within and outside of the organization. It is imperative to your recruitment plan to identify positions within your organization that need to be filled. Before posting a vacancy, you should consider whether your organization intends to retain the job in its present form and with its present title, compensation, and status, and whether selected attributes of the job, for example, skill or experience requirements, will change. It is also important to consider whether your organization's policy on recruitment is still applicable. Placement goals help determine a company's overall recruitment needs through well-established business goals. Your recruitment plan should be based on the goals established by your organization. Therefore, it is important to consider which skill sets are required to accomplish organizational objectives. While developing your recruitment plan, you should establish specific recruitment goals. Recruitment goals may include attracting and retaining a higher standard of candidate, as well as promoting a diverse workforce and a positive work-life balance within your organization. It is important to examine each position and job description, then create a list of desirable traits for each. You can use selected traits as means of narrowing down the number of applicants. Ideally, a recruitment plan should consist of a budget that provides you with an idea of how much money must be spent on the entire recruitment process. Typically, expenses included in the recruitment budget are advertising expenses, travel and interview-related expenditures, relocation costs, applicant screening fees, and sign-on bonuses. Recruitment advertising not only helps to attract the best person to fill the position, but also encourages a range of applicants, ensures fair and open competition, and promotes your organization as the employer of choice. Advertising a role effectively can give you access to a wider pool of talent, as well as save time, money, and resources. You should consider developing an advertising plan that includes the location of the advertisements, as well as how widely you wish to advertise the opening. It is also important to analyze the benefits and disadvantages of recruiting personnel through internal and external sources, and consider whether formal or informal systems should be used. Primary sourcing tools include internet job boards, print advertisement, social media sites such as LinkedIn and Facebook, job fairs, professional conferences, and campus recruiting. As management personnel, you should also develop relationships with diversity agencies, which assist women and underrepresented groups. It is your responsibility to adhere to the employment equity goals within your operation, foster and maintain a representative workforce, as well as demonstrate commitment to employment equity by ensuring that discrimination and stereotyping are not tolerated.
Step 4. Select a search committee.
After you have identified your vacancy and developed your position description along with your recruitment plan, we will now talk about selecting a search committee. The point of a search committee is to minimize any potential bias for a particular candidate. Not all companies utilize search committees, but it is good to know about them should one ever need to be formed. Ultimately, the hiring manager will identify the members of the committee, ensuring its diversity. The hiring manager will need to make sure there is an affirmative action and compliance liaison to make sure underrepresented groups have an equal opportunity to serve on the committee. It is also important to encourage participation. For positions that are being recruited for frequently and that utilize a search committee, they need to make sure the members of the committee are changed frequently to avoid a group thinking bias.
The size of the committee is decided by the hiring manager, but note that it should not contain more than 6 members. The member should include at least one person who has a strong understanding of that particular position and its contribution to the department, a job specialist, such as a recruiter or talent acquisition specialist, and at least one person who will interact closely with the position, such as a main customer or client. It is important to make sure there is no conflict of interest in relation to the applicants, and there must never be any individuals who have an interest in the position themselves. Each person on the committee should have an understanding of laws with regards to affirmative action and equal employment opportunity. There are many training workshops over these that can be completed. It is also a good idea for the committee to meet prior to reviewing any applicants so they can come up with the criteria for applicant evaluations. In order to do this, the member should be very familiar with the job and the position description.
Step 5. Post position and implement recruitment plan.
Once the search committee has been set up, if the company is using one, you can go ahead and get that position posted and start looking for amazing candidates. In order to find those candidates, you need to have a solid recruitment plan. This includes where you are posting the position. Most companies will post it on their company page, online, or through their HRIS system, but you can also utilize avenues such as social media to get the message out to a large group of people instantly. You will want to decide the application process for internal and external candidates. Focus on attracting both active and passive candidates. Active candidates are those that directly apply to the position, and passive candidates are those that aren't actively looking but are open to better opportunities. Social media is a great tool for reaching out to those passive candidates. Continuous monitoring of the position is very important. Make sure you are tracking your applications and the referral source so you know what is successful when you're ready to post the next position.
Step 6. Review applicants and develop a short list. Once the search committee reviews all applicants to ensure that each one meets the requirements needed for the position, but also has the availability and discusses salary requirements prior to the interview, you want to develop a short list of exactly whom you will be proceeding with in the interview process. Step 7. Conduct interviews. Once the interview process has started, you want to prepare before with which type of interview you will be conducting, whether it's a one-on-one, a panel, or a virtual interview. With each type of interview, asking the correct questions is going to be key to finding the perfect applicant. Making sure each question will not only help you find out more of the interviewee, but make sure they are able to handle each scenario that is presented to them. After the interview has been conducted, each member will score the interviewee based on the answers provided and will instruct the selected interviewee on what further steps are needed. Step 8. Select hire.
When selecting a final applicant, it's important to have a hiring committee. Having a committee will assist in making the interview process very smooth. The members will evaluate each interviewer to determine if they are qualified for the position. Please note that documentation is vital in this part of recruiting. Proper documentation needs to reflect the decision of who is obtaining the job. Ensure that documentation is in compliance with the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs. This is also known as the OFCCP. The candidate needs to be selected based on their qualifications. In addition to this, the candidate will need to follow all company policies and procedures. Now that we have discussed the first step in selecting a hire, which is selecting a final applicant, we can discuss the second step. The second step of selecting a hire includes conducting reference checks. Reference checks can be the best predictor of future success in a company. This is obtained from current and/or former supervisors. These supervisors are aware of the applicant's work habits, strengths, and/or weaknesses. Reference checks should be conducted prior to making a job offer. Failure to do so may result in negative consequences in the future. In addition to this, reference checks should be considered in the overall decision-making process. How an employee performs in the past can have a prediction of how they would perform in the future. References should have a significant impact in regards to choosing the right applicant. There are 2 types of reference check options, which include online and over the phone. Online reference check options may have a criteria involve a reference check tool, and also may consist of a short survey. When conducting a phone reference check, it is important to first prepare. Ensure that you are familiar with the information that is provided in the application. If there is something that appears to be unclear in the application, please make note of it and later follow up with the applicant. In addition, it is important to convey a comforting tone to attain the appropriate responses. This can start by stating your name and the company you work for. Also, discuss the information you have already obtained from the applicant. The last two things you may want to consider when conducting a phone reference check is to describe the job position and also ask job-related questions. When transitioning from Step 8, selecting a hire, to Step 9, finalizing the recruitment process, please ensure that the following duties are completed prior to initiating the offer. 1. You must ensure that the duties and responsibilities of the position were described correctly. 2. Ensure that the duties and responsibilities reflect what is indicated in the job description. And last but not least, make sure that the questions asked in the interview were appropriate. The next key point in finalizing the recruitment process is initiating the offer. Once the selection process has been completed, information regarding the chosen applicant's name, salary, and start date would need to be placed in the appropriate HR system. An example of this would be ATS. Applicants not selected need to be assigned a decision code. This information is sent for review and approval for management. From there, the HR generalist or recruiter makes an offer. Our next key point includes negotiating the offer. Please note that the best offer should be made. In addition, learning and development opportunities can be discussed as well. The discussion of retirement programs and the discussion of compensation packages will also be discussed. Key point number 4 includes countering the offer. This can be tricky because the applicant may decline the best offer. It's important to discuss the reasons of why the applicant declined. Offers may decline because of salary. As a result, the department is able to review salary options requested by the applicant if appropriate.
Step 9. Finalize recruitment.
The last and final step includes finalizing the offer. Each recruitment should be properly closed. In addition, individuals not selected should be notified by phone or letter in the mail. The steps to finalizing the recruitment process are as follows. 1. Send an offer letter to the chosen applicant. 2. Input information into the HR system. 3. Notify the applicants that were not chosen that the position has been filled. 4. Ensure all documents are on the HR system. And last but not least, you would close the requisition.